Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I'm gonna make an appeal every day until something gets done about this, but I think we could make some revamping to how we think about work and the scheduling of work, especially. A little bit of background: I teach at a college, or two colleges right now. And I'm a little bit Peter upset about our spring break coming up. Now, do I dislike breaks? Not at all. The problem is I dislike scheduled breaks. I mean, our bodies don't go on a schedule. Imagine you could only go to the bathroom at certain times of the day, right? The fact that breaks happen at certain times of the year is just a version of that, right? If you wouldn't schedule your employees, hey, please do your pooping at whatever time, I guess Amazon kind of does that, right? But most employers have the good sense not to do that. Now, why do I Peter dislike the concept of spring break? Well, I'd rather it be spread out a little bit. So, for example, last fall or last summer, it really began. I was stressed out of my mind. Oftentimes, before one activity could close out, more stress would come, and this went on for months and months and months. I kind of fell apart during the fall semester, and then I had a couple of students who were behind in their work, and I thought during the Thanksgiving break I'll sit down with them and see what I could do about it. Thanksgiving came and all I heard were crickets. They were nowhere to be found. And I was bored out of my mind too. I didn't know what to do. I thought about analogies for how I felt, because it's really difficult to explain a lot of these things in words. It kind of felt like everything just was dry. It was like, I'm driving a Kia Forte, and it's aging, right? It's got 170,000 miles on it, and it drinks oil almost as much as it drinks the gasoline, right? And you got to top off the oil and all that. That's how I felt during the Thanksgiving break. It was like there was no lubricant. The other analogy I can think of is, I don't know how old my audience is, but if you used to listen to CDs, when I was a kid, if the CD had a scratch, sometimes it would jump, right? And if you were really unlucky, it jumped backwards, and it repeated like 2 seconds of the song over and over and over and over again, right? During the Thanksgiving break, when I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, it kind of felt like that, right? Meanwhile, when I come back, it's a mess, right? I got scores and scores of students who need to see me. I have our grade book was not very friendly to use. Fortunately, they revamped that a little bit this semester. It's still a disaster to use. You get the traffic, right? You get the idea, and no time to God forbid if something were to go wrong in my own life, right? Sometimes I get into drama with my roommate or my living situation. You get the idea, right? And then the holidays come, and all that just completely disappears, and you don't know what to do with your life. Now, spring break is only the tip of the iceberg. I want things to be as desynchronized as possible, a clockless society, if you will. So, for example, obviously that's not going to work for a college campus, but I wish working hours were a little bit more flexible. Here's why. I used to work at a tutoring center, and it was much more acute over. I still feel it at the college, but at the tutoring center it was much more acute. I would have a student who I needed to see at, let's say it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by the time it was 12:30, 1 o'clock, it put a constraint on what I could begin doing, right? I love to take long distance walks, and it put a constraint to what I could even think about doing, right? Or I was making bismuth crystals. The furnace needed to be turned off, and you needed time to cool it down. I wouldn't want to leave it unattended, especially because I was living with roommates who might not know better, and so you get the idea, right? If the work were desynchronized and I could just show up whenever I want for 8 hours or whatever number of hours, it wouldn't put so much of a constraint. I just finish what I'm doing. Oh, time to get to work, right? But Obviously, that might not work for a teaching or a tutoring situation, but you can imagine other jobs where it might work, right? I certainly want our holidays to be completely desynchronized, right? Besides, it creates a lot of religious objections anyway with certain holidays, right? And for our sleep schedules to be desynchronized, right? After all, I don't think too many people actually have sleep disorder. What they do have is non-synchronous sleep disorder, right? Think about it this way, right? During the quarantine, how many people did you see have sleep problems? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.